to come to you today with Dwayne. We are into a new month and still dealing with the stay home, stay healthy order, but excited to come to you today and do a little conversation question answer series for you. So thanks for joining us today. Love your background.
Yeah, thank you. This is getting fun on the Zoom. You know, I'm discovering how to use it all the time better. And I had a talk over the fence with my neighbor actually yesterday who talked about breakout rooms with the Zoom that he experienced. And I didn't know that, but I'm coming along, and Teresa will tell you I didn't even have a working camera when we started this whole thing. So we're getting there.
Yeah, you made
So,
great
but I have
progress.
you know, the football schedules are out, sunshine's out, golfing's open, but we are taking step by step, and we're still under the guidance of a lot of city and state. Um, Tell us more about the opening. We're in phase 1 opening, right? And what's phase 2? When's it going to be? What's it look like?
Awesome. Yeah. So phase 2 is slated to take place on June 1st. So there is a little bit of misconception out there, and it was a little confusing because he said phase 1, Governor Inslee said phase 1, and then said a minimum of 3 weeks. So a lot of people pulled their calendar out immediately and started looking 3 weeks down the line. But he did come out and clarify that phase 2 will not start until June 1st. On the phase 2 list, the word real estate shows up, which is really interesting because we're already deemed essential. So what does that mean? And I can only kind of forward think through that. And that is that I believe that showings will go back to being able to have multiple parties at a showing at one time, and that there might be some guidelines given about open houses. I think that if you look at phase 2, it clearly states that only 5 people from a non-family are allowed to be together. So I think open houses are going to have some restrictions, and therefore we still need to be adapting to new ways of getting our marketing out there on our listings. So that's what phase 2 is, and when we're supposed to see that go. But obviously things are fluid and changing, so we'll come to you when we know.
Yeah, you know, I was on a call yesterday on a relocation call from Century 21 American Relocation Alliance, and that there was representatives all over the country. Some states are reopening pretty aggressively, and other states like Pennsylvania, real estate's not essential. They are shut down. They can't do anything except virtual, but the virtual like photos have to come from the owner because the agent can't even go to their house. So they're really suffering. So be thankful that we're deemed essential and can still do business.
Yeah, absolutely. So leads into a question that I have for you is, what did you see in the market in April while we were dealing with, first of all, not being essential, then being essential, and kind of the economic response to?
Yeah, it was probably the longest month in my life. It just felt like every week there was this whole new evolution going on. And okay, first, like, what's going on? How are we going to do this? Okay, time out, take a break, do some gardening, you know, and then it dawned on me pretty quickly that, you know, we got to get busy. This is no time to be sitting back. We have to go on the offense. We have to, you know, of course, reach out to our clientele. We spoke that a lot on our messaging to everybody. But more than that, we have to be even more aggressive. We have to not tell people it'll be okay and just, you know, pat them on the back. We want to get some real estate business going because each of our livelihoods are at stake, quite frankly. And we cannot afford a 2 or 3 month gap. It's like landing the 747. It takes so much energy to get it up and flying again, to get your sales going again. So, you know, I realized we didn't want to land. And then how do we perform? You know, we have the cleaning stations and the new restrictions, and now we're learning about virtual tours. And, you know, all this is still evolving as we go. We've seen so much Zoom and so much online stuff, and it's getting to be second nature. We're learning how to use this stuff, accept it, really make it part of day-to-day process. Now, I know I was on 3 Zoom calls yesterday, and I missed 2 because they all overlapped. It was ridiculous. So anyways, the April marketplace did really well, considering. I think MLS stats show that the general MLS marketplace was down, I don't know, 30–35%. It was definitely a softening. I think a lot of general agents stayed at home. Now, We've been very proactive again, and I'm encouraging that. And our office showed that we were pretty flat. We were maybe down 1 or 2%, but we were really right there where we were last year. Good job, guys. I really, really appreciate that. I think there's an opportunity to even do better. So I know that not all of our guys are working. So to stay even, that was great.
Yeah, one thing that I think that I've noticed this whole week is talking about the market is that it seems a little bit like when we're looking at market statistics, we have to look at a hyper local specific area. You know, some areas are doing so much stronger than others, and there's not really a very clear definition as to why. Do you have any
Yeah,
feedback?
it's
or
so
thoughts?
funny. The top line up there, it says hyper local, price sensitive. You know,
Yeah, we didn't prep
exactly.
for that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we haven't rehearsed this, but I know that we were going to talk about the market. And so not only is the market hyper local, I think it's more hyper price sensitive. So local might be, okay, Bellevue. Bellevue is a pretty high priced area. Jumbo loans hit a road bump during the last month. Things are resolving maybe in that a little bit, but still we know we had a flipped sale in the office due to financing just this week. So, and it was in Bellevue. Well, Bellevue came out on a map Seattle Times put out to be one of those markets that softly stagnated in price and in some cases came down. Well, the big news, you know, is I don't know. It's like one day the sky's falling and the next day it's going to recover anytime and it's going to zoom and take off. It's really confusing. But I think what I'm seeing is it's price sensitive. That mid price up to maybe 650 to 7, but 650 to 450, that's the sweet spot right now. Certainly the low end prices, the beginning, the 250s, the 300s, those little condos and stuff, maybe in Everett and South Snohomish County, that's not quite a sweet spot because the first time home buyers, the people that are coming into the market are often the people that were furloughed or laid off, and that's not as active. Whereas that sweet spot is, I still got my job, you know, it looks like I'll be around for a while, I'm ready to buy that house. So that's what I'm seeing is hypersensitive to price. And then that goes into districts and neighborhoods that are kind of similar to each other.
Yeah, so I just want to mention one thing just based on what you said. I talked to a lender last night and he said he felt like things kind of just were kind of just doing their thing and a lot of refis. And he said this week specifically, he had a ton of first-time home buyer applications, a ton. He said, so, you know, people are starting to really hear that these interest rates need to be taken advantage of. And then I talked to an agent yesterday who said 2 of my buyers who were thinking fall got qualified and they're ready to go now. They want to take advantage of this. So I think we're going to continue to see that kind of changing weekly, what's going on, how's everybody feeling, and there's a lot of emotion behind what's going on too.
Yeah, and you know, another factor that I'm seeing that's happened in the last month is the listings that I've had, the buyers are circling. You know, they're like they're like in the sky, just looking and looking and looking and looking, and they've got more time apparently on their hands, and so they're hyper researching. I have a really good listing right now, but when COVID hit, 2 blocks away, sprung up a tent camp, and I've got people telling me that's why they're not making an offer on this property. It's like, dang, you know, that wasn't even there 3 weeks ago. So they're researching for a lot of amenities, what's going on in the area. Also, they're being very cautious about crime and sensitive to that kind of an environment. So, you know, yeah, we're going to have to research a little bit more and know our product when we put it on the market. I didn't even know this tent camp was there. It wasn't on my drive route to this listing, to this house, but it was very, very close. So I learned a lot with that, and we're adjusting to it. So, yeah.
Good. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, in the office, you'd mentioned that the finance story, and we know about the jumbo deal. Is there anything else in the office, though, that you're kind of noticing?
Yeah. So two things that I think are worth mentioning. One, we're having a really strong start to May. We're almost double the number of listings we were this time in April and double the number of transactions. So it definitely tells me that people are tired of kind of sitting around and waiting on things. So that's good. We've got a really strong start, and it feels really good. And the other thing is that we've really seen an uptick in scams. And so I kind of want to caution everybody there. So obviously we sent out some messaging, I believe it was a little bit a week ago or so, about a text message scam that has gone out. And then another one, too, that I want to mention. One is an email that's been going around, and I don't know who's received it, but it really reminded me, when you get an email that just doesn't seem like it's of character, to look at who it's from and if the email address seems valid. So scammers have gotten really, really clever, but if it's coming from a corporate leader or something, it will be like an @Microsoft or an @Century21. It wouldn't be at some weird off the wall email address you've never heard of.
Really good pitch, Teresa, to encourage folks that are not paying for the secure Century 21 email and using it. We jumped on it right away. I mean, it just feels like, as an owner, you just can't mess around with stuff like that. That's the price you pay. We know we have agents that still have Yahoo and Hotmail and AOL, and even Gmail is not as secure. I love Gmail, but unfortunately I've had to go to the secure Outlook system. It double authenticates. It makes sure when you log in, it's you. And I'm getting to really appreciate it. So with the world that we live in, I think if you're not on that, where you get the @century21.com behind your name, kind of missing out for that security purpose.
Absolutely. And then the other one is a text message that went out from what appeared to be a third in line as far as ranking in the Century 21 system. So the director of marketing, Kara Whitley, text message was going out. And I just want to caution you that it's really unlikely that Mike Meadler, Brian Ellington, Kara Whitley are going to send you a random text message asking how you're doing. It's awesome. It would be awesome if they had time to do that. But the reality is that is a bait. So be careful. And I think that we're just seeing that in general. There are people that just come out of the woodworks to take advantage of people during a time where maybe your guard is down. So just be aware. So those are the things that I've been seeing.
Okay, good. Yeah. Well, one of the things that's come up too a couple times, and you're getting questions on it, and I've had emails on it. It's regarding some of the questionnaires that have surfaced for showing agents to some listings. I did this form that says, okay, have you ever been sick? Have you had a temperature? Are you anybody you've been hanging with, been sick? And they're trying to screen buyers, and I get the intent, screen buyers before showing a property. And I have an opinion about that's a good intention, but the practical application might lead to more liability than protection, if I can say it that way. There's probably a reason, and it may change, but there's probably a reason Northwest MLS didn't immediately produce a form like that.
Right.
And I think it's because, misinformation, or even a consumer, a buyer, can be put off by that question. I got to answer that to go see this house. That's kind of weird. Okay, I'll do it. But then they sign the form and they answer, I've been healthy and blah, blah, blah. Well, there's a whole lot of carriers out there that might think they're healthy. And that if a problem happened in a house and traced back to that person, where's the liability in all that? So, it's almost like they lied. Well, they didn't lie. They didn't know. It's very convoluted. And I think that form, quite frankly, could be a problem for the person presenting the form, actually more than the person filling out the form, unless they're proved to have lied. So I'm not too keen on jumping on that ship, following that lead and producing a form. I'm open to suggestions on it. I know we want to protect our sellers, and I think it's okay to verbally make sure when we talk to our showing agents that we've done everything we can on our end. We want to make sure your guys are good and healthy. You're okay with that, right? I can't imagine any agent out there who would take out a sick person, temperature and not feeling good and all that to a house. I just can't see that happening, right? Maybe one in a million, but it's not the thing. Set up your workstations, get your clean stations, publicize them, take a photo of it and put it in your slideshow if you think that's what's going on. Kelly's getting great compliments on her clean station. We have a little round table. It goes in the entry. There's sanitizers. There's hand wipes. There's napkins. There's a lid on the disposal, the small garbage can. You step on, the lid comes up, you know. Everything's sanitized. There's direction sheets on this little table. And she's getting compliments from other agents that are copying that. So do that. That's more important, or as important in my opinion, is creating a questionnaire. I think we can pretty well safely say to the sellers that, you know, we're being very careful. It's state mandated we're being careful, and we're following the rules, and this is how we're doing it. We're just using showing time, quite frankly, is working wonderfully for this. So there's no crossing of parties. So.
Yeah, the other questionnaire that I'm seeing is a questionnaire that basically states, I am not taking on any liability for showing you homes. And I also agree with you. I feel like that's an additional opening a can of worms. I mean, we are not responsible for confirming if someone is ill or not, and we can't be put in that place.
That's right. I mean, you take on responsibility. You know how we're not to act as an attorney. We can't,
right,
you know, create legal forms. We can fill in the blanks pretty well. We're not legal doctors either. And, you know, somebody may have a bad headache, a migraine, and look like they've got the flu. We don't know, right? And we can misdiagnose so fast. We're not that. So, you know, let's don't pretend to be that.
Yep. Awesome. Well, this has been good. I have enjoyed this. This is fun. Far cry from the first time we did this when we were a little unpolished, but we're getting good.
Well, yeah, I wanted to say a couple more things. I know we want to wrap up, running longer than we thought, but still, I'm really having a great time with our Thursday morning coffee break.
Yeah.
Anybody that wants to join that, we're just kicking back, you know, and literally just chatting. And it's short, it's a half an hour, but it's a good way to kick the day off. I would encourage doing that more. And so if you've not joined us on the Thursday morning, do that. And things are discussed and coming from that. And I appreciate those that are joining us there. Second thing is, if you've been waiting or if you're not working, guys, you know, it's going to be several months till you get paid. Let's get going here. You know, I can't say that strong enough. We have 30-40% of our agents really working every day like they always did. 20-30% are on the slow boat, and we've got 20-35% just never don't know what they're doing. I can't even find you. So let's get busy here, guys. Okay. We're having an opportunity to be very proactive. We're doing fine. I want to reassert that to you. We're doing great. We want to do better. This is a chance for market share for us by acting accordingly. And Teresa's done a great job of educating and giving you all the tools and all the opportunities to be able to work in this environment, as well as Century 21. They're doing a great job. No reason to sit back. We've got to keep this moving because there's buyers and sellers that need us out there. And I would rather they work with you, the professional, than help you sell down the street. Sorry, help you sell, but that's the way it is. And so let's take advantage of this market. Let's get aggressive. You know, you're going to be rejected in a good market. In this market, just get aggressive. If somebody gives you feedback, don't sweat it.
Yeah, and let me add to that, that if there's anything that you need help with specifically, myself, Stephanie, Matea, Shayna, we're all still working. So we're happy to, you know, help you. If you're want to talk a little bit more about marketing or getting yourself out there, or want to just practice your script when you're making a call because you're feeling uncomfortable about it, we are here to do that with you. So feel free to reach out. Where, you know, we want to help you thrive, not just survive. So
Right. Don't let fear stop you either. You know, I know of that many people. Now, I know of people that know people, that many people in our environment. I don't know of a single real estate broker. There hasn't been a mention of it anywhere that has gotten sick with COVID, and knock on wood, right? But don't let fear stop you. If that's what your emotion is, call Teresa, call whoever you trust in our environment to help you. But there's safe ways to do this business. The point is, do the business and get on the Zooms a lot, because you're going to get better and better and better at this. Teresa's a blooming expert. She can teach anybody this stuff now. Right?
well, no, not an expert, but
She's a blooming expert, I should say.
blooming. Yes. Blooming is a good word.
Okay. Well, thank you guys. I know I've talked longer than we were intended to, but good messaging. Have a great weekend. It's going to be beautiful weather. If you're a golfer, go golfing.
Yep. And happy Mother's Day, everyone.
Yeah, for sure. Happy Mother's Day. Hope you all get to do a Mother's Day Zoom.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Thanks so much.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye-bye.